everybody? Welcome to another show for One-on-One Talk. It's your boy Pico City Brown, Pico Brown of Pico City. Same name, new, different, all type of different names, but still the same guy. How everybody doing today? I want to thank you guys for participating and watching my show again. You already know the routine, you already know the drill. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube page, feel free to run over to YouTube and hit subscribe under Pico City Brown, One-on-One Talk, and also PTSD. Both shows are on the same platform, so go to YouTube, smash that subscribe button, hit that like button. Go to TikTok. I'm also on TikTok. You can follow me on TikTok at Pico City. Hit the follow button. Follow me on TikTok. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube. That's Pico the City Brown. One-on-One Talk PTSD. That's on YouTube. Pico City is on TikTok. That's following on TikTok. But before I start the show, I just want everybody to know that the topic today, it didn't come to me. Somebody wanted me to talk about it. And by all means, shape, form, or fashion, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I am not trying to make somebody mad. I'm just giving an opinion on my thoughts and somewhat God thoughts. Well, I'm not going to say God thoughts, on somewhat things he's saying. So the topic of the day was interracial relationships. Pretty much interracial relationships and also marriage. Now, I'm not saying you can't do what you want to do. I'm not saying, because I don't believe in love is love. You know, a lot of people say that, well, love is love, long as they're happy. But I will say this. Oh, before I start all that, I'm not, this goes for gay and straight people, or homosexuals, or whatever they call themselves. I don't know, I'm not trying to offend them. I'm just saying what I think is the proper way to say what they are. So if they're gay, homosexual, I don't know, trans, anybody under that LGBT community, anybody under the heterosexual community, this goes for both communities. And it also goes for male and female. Oh, male and woman, man and woman, because the female thing is, people don't like that word anymore, so it is what it is. Now, this is the big world we live in. We got flavors and colors like Baskin Robbins, but it's just not 31 flavors. There's a whole bunch of races in this world: black, white, Asian, Polish, Lithuanian. I mean, they're number and countless nations and races of all sorts of colors and whatever. But there are things in this world that we can't sometimes comprehend because we're human, and we sometimes look at things with a human perspective, a human eye, and saying stuff like, well, hey, it's not hurting anybody, or it's this is that, or I love this person, or I love that person. But it's sometimes, but see, us being humans, just like you have a child, or you're in school, or you're at work, you have an instructor, you have somebody telling you what you're doing, you have to follow those rules. If you're in school, the teacher's pretty much the head honcho in the classes. When you're a parent, you're pretty much the head honcho over your kids. Whatever the parents say goes. I don't care if it's good or bad. You can get mad all you want, that's fine. You're supposed to get mad, but pretty much what they say go. Hey, can I go outside today? No, you gotta stay in the house. But I did this, I cleaned up my room, I did such and such. Okay, that's fine, but you still gotta stay in the house. Okay, teachers supposed to be smarter than students in some cases, but you're there to learn from a teacher's point of view, and you're there to learn from a parent's point of view or a work point of view. You always have a manager or a supervisor over you to teach you things, and you have to pretty much do what they ask you to do. You can't go into a job saying, well, I'm gonna work in this position today, and I want this amount of money. No, it don't work like that. If you're a mail boy, you can't go to work and tell a secretary to move, I'm gonna be the secretary today. No, it don't work like that. So by me saying that, there's rules to everything. So if the Almighty, if God is our Father, and he pretty much set rules down, we pretty much have to obey his rules, regardless of what we think, regardless, something's always in my eye, regardless of what we think, regardless of what we say. It's pretty much his way. And 9 times out of 10, no, 10 times out of 10, his way is always best for everybody. That's just how it goes. So this podcast is, believe me, I'm not saying this to hurt anybody. So if you join this podcast and if you feel offended, hey, I'm just telling you my perspective of things in certain situations and the way sometimes God look at things in certain situations, because after all, he made these rules. We didn't make these rules. What we did was we manipulated his rules and say, hey, what he said we can't do, we can do it. Now, by that being said, all the rules that he made for man wasn't exactly for all men. And hey, Pico, what do you mean by that? I'll explain it to you. If you think about perspective of things, the Lord, I'm not saying the Lord can't lay on somebody's heart, go to bed and show them the right way. But if you really look at it, certain things that this race of people can't do that others can. You know, other races can do whatever. They can marry who they want, but his certain race of people, he wasn't allowing it. And believe me, if God say don't do something, it's pretty much for a good reason. But a lot of us don't look at it like that because we've been taught through the years that, hey, love is love, man. I mean, you can't help who you fall in love with. Yeah. And it also says be unequally yoked with unbelievers. So me being with a woman, she can be beautiful. She can be a 10. She can have a great job, a great home, great, good money and all that stuff. And very loving to me. But if I'm a child of Christ, a child of God, and I'm trying to do right by keeping his laws and his statutes and his commandments and all that stuff and doing what he say do, and she don't come into my world and say, well, I got my own God, and okay, blah, blah, my God worship spiders, I'm just using an example. There's nothing I can do with that woman. I have to let her go because evil communications corrupt good manners. Sooner or later, she's going to pull me into her God, and I'll be worshiping spiders just like she do. And my God be like, hey, man, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to worship me. Now, everybody's running around here thinking that God is this and God is that. Yes, he is. He's loving. He's caring. He wakes us up every day, the ones that he wake up. But there's rules to everything we do. Remember Adam and Eve? Let's go back to Adam and Eve. Everything was lovey-dovey. Adam was off naming animals. He created Eve. Everything he said do was fine, except don't eat off this tree. And they're saying, I'm not trying to go back to say, well, Eve did and all that stuff. No, I'm just saying there's rules to everything we do and to everything he do. You can do anything you want to do, just don't touch that tree. You can do anything, anything that's good and holy. You can go do this with the animals and look at the waterfalls and have a Garden of Eden Woods. I don't know, I wasn't back there. But there's certain things you can't do. And if you read your scriptures, he tells you his people, I'm talking about his people. I'm not talking about nobody else, because God chosen people are nothing but the Hebrews, the Israelite, the Jews, anybody of that 12 race. That's why he always say in the Bible, my people, I'm the God of Israel. He never said he's God of the world. Now think about it. He never said that. Although the world is his, but 99.9% of the world is sin. So he's talking to his people. He wants his people to come out of that shell and don't fall into the ways. Hey, don't be unequally yoked with unbelievers. Don't follow the ways of the heathen. He was talking to somebody. And this goes out to the people that say, well, white man wrote the Bible. If the white man wrote the Bible, don't you think he would have put the Bible in his perspective and made him good and made everybody else bad? Food for thought. Think about that for a second. He would have made everybody else bad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is one. O Israel, he always talk about Israel. So if he's talking about Israel and the 12 tribes, remember, he only dealt with them, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The 12 tribes of Israel, but look, the 12 tribes of Israel come from those people. Okay. Remember, he changed his name from Abraham to Israel. What was it? Isaac to Israel. It was one of them. I can't remember. But the way of the world is, the world goes against God's grain, because That's the world. They can do what they want to do. But his people was only allowed to do things he wanted them to do. But we over here, and so we say, hey, we can do what we want to do. You know, hey, love is love. You can love who you want. And he actually breaks down the people you can't marry, the people you're not supposed to be with. This is where you get interracial relationships from. So, put it to you like this. Slavery hit, bam. One of the biggest slaveries in the world. No, it wasn't the Holocaust or nothing like that. Black slavery was the biggest, most franchised slavery in the world. But that's hands down, that's what it is. Now, if he said, I'm gonna send a nation from the north, which is white people from the north. You can't argue that fact. It almost look like something later on my own. You can't argue that fact. So if he said I'm gonna send somebody from the north and they're gonna put you in shackles and they're gonna hate you with a perpetual hate, why would he be okay with you marrying people that he sent to put you in chains? That don't make sense. It don't make sense. It never makes sense. And this isn't the style about white people. You got some good white people, but the thing is, we pretty much know the history of Caucasian people. We know the history of these guys. We all know this. So there's nothing like I'm saying anything bad, because that's just what they do. I can't knock them for doing what they do, just like they can't knock us for doing what we do. But back to what I was saying about interracial marriage and relationships, in my eyes, people should stick to their own race. Now, somebody would hear that part I just said and say, well, people prejudice, people racist. No, I respect everybody. I talk to everybody. Don't matter if you're black, white, green, blue. Yeah, but there are certain limits I wouldn't cross, because you're not supposed to mix your seed with another race seed. He had people you can deal with and marry that was in your tribe. This isn't nothing new. Remember, this is nothing new. Indians did the same thing. But if you look at it, Indians are still part of the 12 tribes. They did the same thing. Some Romans back in the days, you couldn't marry out your race. If you was a Roman, you tried to marry a black woman, they would probably kill you. But people always say, well, times change. Yeah, times going to always change, which is good, which is bad, because sometimes times change for the better of people. Sometimes time change for the worse. But God, what he say, never change. It never changed. So everybody should be with their own race. That's just how it goes in his eyes. That's how he made things. If anybody can pull up a scripture and God say, hey, you can marry German people, Polish people, Russian people, European, I'll stop this show. But you can't. Because remember, back in those days, he didn't use the word white man or black man or the Mexican race or the Indian race. No, he used their names by nation. Esau, Edomites. The list goes on. These are the people that we're not supposed to marry, because, hey, these people, first of all, let's just be honest. You have a bigger race of white people that don't like you. You have a smaller race of white people that like you. So think about it. That's why they can do what they want to do, call you all type of N-words and stuff, because first of all, let's just be honest, they were never here to like us anyway. They were never here to like us. No, you seen all of the pictures of slavery, Amistad and stuff. Them people treated us like dirt. No, actually, they treated dirt better. They treated us like spit. They treat us like spit. But when we grow up and we see the world for what it is, we say, oh, hey, that don't mean me. This such and such is a good person. Such and such is a great person. I love her and I love him. But what did the ruler say? What did the Lord say? It's certain people you can't marry. Because if you marry them, that means you have to take on their God. If you take on their God, simple. God clearly said, I am a jealous God. He's telling us this right here. I'm jealous. Don't fall for this. Don't fall for that. Don't worship this. Don't worship that. Don't fall for these fallen idols. And we do it. We do it. Our God is way different from their God. Look it up in the Bible. If the white man wrote the Bible so good, look it up in the Bible. So all this stuff is kept in the Bible for a reason. Now, the Bible was here before we was born, before Jesus came about. They had all the time in the world to manipulate the Bible to a T. They could have took everything out the Bible and put a whole new verse in. But why is there still verses in the Bible that people fight every day to see if it's truth or not? He always said he's the God of Israel. Who's from Israel? Israelites. He never said he was the God of Zimbabwe. He never said he was the God of Europe. He never said nothing like that. So that goes to show you, if good is in the world, there's got to be bad in the world. A lot of people say, hey, if God exists, why do he let all this stuff happen in the world? God's not letting nothing happen. This is man's doing. Man did this. Man corrupt the world. Man changed all his laws and man changed all God laws and put his laws in. Because if you look at the world now, all these different laws, God has nothing to do with these laws. Nothing. No. LGBT got their laws. The Me movement got their laws. The woke movement got their laws. The presidents, the Senate, all this stuff, they got their laws. He ain't got nothing to do with this stuff. And how dare us, when they pick a president, we go crazy and say, oh yeah, thank you, this, that. These people was never here to help us. So you can cry Obama all day long. White people put Obama in office. It wasn't black people votes, because you can't overcome in this world that's not supposed to be overcome by us. We in this world, hey, look, prime example. Remember Black Wall Street? Now, you got to look at it like this. You got to look at, yeah, he did give us free will. You got to look at it like this. Black Wall Street was flourishing, right? But then again, if you go to the Bible, it goes to show you everything reflects to the Bible that has something to do with our people. Black Wall Street was flourishing, right? They do this. I wasn't around, but I heard about this and that, blah, blah. It was just beautiful. From what I heard, it was flourishing. But in the same time, before Black Wall Street was built, he told us, if we be disobedient, we're going into slavery. Nobody shall help you. Key word. If he say nobody, he means nobody. So when they built up Black Wall Street and they came and tore it up, he just told you, no, and you know what? People probably don't even look at it like this, but he told you nobody's going to help you. So you can try to build all you want. You can. And the ones that do make it, they pretty much sold their souls. They pretty much sold their souls. So it's their game. You have to play their game. You can't play your game. That means you have to take on our God. You got most black people in the world that got that picture of Jesus that they used to show on Good Time, the white Jesus, and we teach our kids, hey, that's Jesus. That ain't Jesus. It's clearly in the Bible what Jesus looked like. But we pretend to not see this. We pretend to not see it every day. Yeah, Jesus is a black man. He was always black. Jesus was never white. Jesus was never Puerto Rican. Jesus was never Indian. No, he's a black man, but they can't give a black man credit like that because there's too much credit. So if Jesus is a black man, God dealt with the Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel, which they're all black people. Black people wrote the Bible. Who do you think he favors the most? Let's just think about it for a second. So there you go. You got your answer. So if Jesus is black, what color do you think the Father is? Think about it. It makes common sense. He did all of this, but he white. So he ain't going to take shine on his people, which brought us in slavery. They lynched us, they beat us, they threw us over the water, over the boats, and the alligators and the sharks was falling in the water. They cut babies out of stomachs. But we still want to serve white Jesus. It don't make sense. You can't make this stuff up, people. The churches is packed on Sundays, but all of a sudden, and guess what? Sunday ain't even a blessed day. It's Saturday. That's why he say, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. He didn't say remember Sunday. It's Saturday. So look at all these people in church on Saturday. Who they worshiping? God don't have none of that stuff because that's not his holy day. It's common sense. Remember, Constantine came, not the Constantine that Keanu Reeves played, everybody. That's just the movie. I'm talking about the real Constantine. When he got over there, he changed everything. No, we going to make this holy day Sunday now. Remember, they had to get God's ways out the picture. That was from back then to 2023. That was always the point, to get him and his ways out so we can push our ways in. So they made up those days. Sunday, those are Roman days. Those are Catholic days. Now, if you remember back in those days, Jesus wasn't Roman. Jesus wasn't Catholic. He wasn't Pentecostal. No. I don't even know what that is. He was none of that. He was the Son of God, which when he came, he was a Nazarene, Jesus of Nazareth. And if you do the research of a Nazarene, that's a part of the Hebrew race, the Hebrew nation, Nazarene. Look at it. It's right there in your face. And so he was going against, when Jesus got here, he was going against the same thing that we're going against now. Hey, you can't follow these people. That's why the Romans and stuff had him killed, man. That's why the black people sold him out, because he came teaching facts. And they weren't trying to hear facts. Hey, you can't tell me who to marry Jesus. You can't do this. You can't do that, because if you submit to a man that don't believe in God, you have to take on that man's God. So all these brothers and sisters out here with the white people on their shoulders, you ain't got to answer to me. You got to answer to the big man, because he clearly said certain people you can't race. I mean, you can't race. I would say some people you can't race. Like we run up for a race. Certain people you can't date, you can't be with, because we come from his people, whether we like it or not. In his eyes, we was upon like a royal people. You can't mix your seed with a heathen. Although, well, Pico, you being a little bit too out of hand, he the one called them that. So you want to get mad? Like I told the sister last time, you want to get mad at me for what I'm saying? Go on your knees, pray, and ask the Lord, why do you call these people that? They ain't did nothing to me. They do stuff to us every day. Every day we breathe. Let me tell you a secret. I mean, I ain't gonna say a secret. Let me tell you a story. I think I told the story before. I have a sister in New York. If you guys probably remember what gleanering is. You know, gleanering is when you do the fundraiser for the church. It's like this little paper book, and you open it up, and it's like a whole bunch of slots with quarters. And you just ask for a quarter, and they give you the quarter, you put it in, or they put it on themselves. Okay, thank you, God bless you. Go about your day, get the next man, get the next woman, do this, that, and the other. She told us the story. She was on 63rd and Western, I think. This one, 63rd and Western, was still somewhat white people. It was all white people back in those days. Exactly. Thank you. But I'm gonna get to that. Angelica. And so she was asking everybody, hey, help the church out. We glean and blah, do this for the church. The white man gave her I don't know how much he gave. I think he gave her a quarter or a full quarter or something like that. I can't remember. He gave her the money. But you know what he told after that? When he gave her the quarter, he said, every day we have to sit down. That means white people have to sit down and figure out what we're going to do with you black folks. And when he told her that, she was astounded. She was shocked. And she came and told the story. So the handwriting is pretty much on the wall, man. We're not supposed to give in to temptation, and we're not supposed to marry these. You know what? And the funny part about it is, you can't get mad at a white person. I'm just gonna be honest. You can't get mad at a white person if the daughter bring a black guy home and the father and the parents get mad and tell them, "Oh, I don't want you dating that black man." He's only doing what's right, because you're not supposed to mix races. But out of everybody in the world, us black folk, we the only one that accept that stuff. We push it on our kids. Well, they can get who they want to get with, not knowing that your kid might have a kid by that man one day. And so you messed up your bloodline, because bloodlines are pure. You never seen a queen back in those days, a black queen. I'm talking about a black queen. I ain't talking about Cleopatra now, because they're African people. His people. Remember Simon? Simon got in trouble from God by dealing with other women outside his race. That's why Simon got in trouble. I mean, not Simon, Solomon. There you go. I'm sorry, I was messed up on that. Solomon got in trouble. Solomon had a whole bunch of wives that was in his race. But when he started dealing with them other women, God had a fit. He like, no, bro, you ain't doing this. So what goes for them, it goes for us too. Because just because it's 2023, yeah, I know Solomon. I don't know why I said Simon. Just because it's 2023, that don't mean God said, well, you know what, the earth is getting older, my people are getting older, I'm going to change the law. No, remember, he's God and he changed not. What he says goes, man. What he says goes. And back to what you were saying, Angelica, plus, no one would understand the black man like the black woman will, and that's exactly. I gave a prime example of that. I think it was PTSD. I think it was last year. if I had a white woman, okay, and this ain't no respect to white people, so I'm just telling it like it is. If I had a white woman and I was coming home from talking, hey baby, I'm on my way, blah blah. I said, no, I'm gonna stop and get some food, and I stop and get some food, and I hang up the phone. I'm on my way driving home, listen to the music, and I see the high beams. I mean the police lights and stuff. They pull me over, license and registration. Okay, bam, here you go right here. Can I check your car? Well, no, officer. Okay, ain't got to worry about it. And they keep pressuring me. Well, if you don't let me check your car, we're going to arrest you. Then I get into an altercation with them, and they put me in handcuffs, and they beat the crap out of me. I mean, beat me up. Don't kill me, but beat me up. And they let me go. Or she come down to the station and bail me out, and I'm on my way home, and she say, what happened? And I say, man, baby, they beat me up because I was black. Only thing she can say is, oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's all she can say. Now, the difference is her, and if I tell a black woman that, she's actually going to feel my pain because she's black, and although she's a woman, it can happen to her too. So she can feel my pain. The white woman, she might feel my pain a little bit, but that woman right there, she might start crying. She might start crying like, you know what, I'm so sorry about this. Bam, bam, this, that, and the other. So they was never here to marry us. They was never here to make us feel good. They was never here to help us. They're whether we like it or not, they're enemies of the Most High because they don't serve the same God you do. They don't. Now remember, these are the people that made all these laws. God made laws just like man made laws. But we obey man laws, but we don't obey God laws. Come on, man. Help it make sense, people. Help it make sense. So, hey, hey, look, what was that saying? Don't shoot the messenger. Don't kill a messenger. They wanted me to talk about this. Somebody sent it to me, say interracial marriage. No, you're supposed to marry your own race. You're supposed to. And when I mean own race, you might not like it, but he didn't want us marrying African people either. Because most African people, I'm not saying all because I know a lot of cool African people. Oh my God. Cool people, but just because they're cool and we get along, I can't put my seed with yours. Because, like I always say, I'm more scared of God than I'm scared of man. That's just me. No, because Africans do believe in God, but if you check their background during BC time, they didn't believe the same God we did. They didn't. They had their own God. That's where you get Amun-Ra from, and Nefertari and King Tut, and they worship beetles and stuff like that. And the sun, they worship the sun god and all that stuff, whatever their names is. That's why I always say it's a lot of gods in this world, but there's only one true God. So yeah, and once you get that, how can I say it? What's the word? The reprobate mind. I think that's what it is. He'll let you do what you want to do. Go ahead. You're gonna die and go to hell anyway. What I'm saying, it ain't gonna help you anyway. So go ahead, die in your sins, bro. That's pretty much how he do things. So there you go. I'm not saying this to hurt nobody's feelings. I'm just telling you the way it is. You're not supposed to mix your seed with another seed from the outside. You're not. There was no such thing in his world with Moses in them days. Okay, put it this way. There weren't well, remember the children of Israel had to go get free from where? Egypt. Egypt is where? In Africa. That goes to show you that's two different gods. While I serve the same God, we should have the same doctrine and teaching, but I'm going to put y'all in slavery. That means, there you go. If you watch it, the perfect example, the Ten Commandments. I know it's funny now because Charlton Heston and Euro Brown, them, it's funny now. You watch it, it's funny because it's funny as heck. Remember the scene when Moses turned the water into blood, raised the staff up and hit the water with the staff, and the water turned to blood. What did Pharaoh do? My water come from this God, this other God, and he pulled the water, and that water also turned to blood. That goes to show you, though, that means somebody was serving one God, somebody was serving the other God. Now, and that goes back to witchcraft. You know, when Moses threw the rod down, and Pharaoh and his people, they threw rods down too, and they turned to snakes just like Moses' rod did. But Moses' snake killed the other two snakes, or the three snakes, however which it was. So that goes to show you, somebody God is stronger. Pharaoh said himself, hey, your God is way stronger than mine, but we all the same, but we all worship the same God. If I come to you and say, Angelica, I had your family for years. Your kids grew up under my teaching. Your parents, you ain't seen your parents in 50 years. Or your kid, I would just say your kids in 50 years. No, I'll lower it down. 20 years. And you say, Pico, God came to me, came over to my house, knocked at my door, and say, God told me to tell you to let my kids go. And I'd be like, you must be crazy. God didn't tell you this because I don't believe in your God. I'm keeping these kids. They're going to grow up under my doctrine. I'm going to teach them to be slaves and everything. Now get on away from my house. You say, okay, I'll be back. You come back a week later and say, Pico, this again. Another week, this again, this again. And I don't believe nothing. And you go pray to God. And he said, you know what? I'll deal with it. And he starts showing me things that I've never seen before. You come over to my house and you snap your finger and the ground and stuff starts shaking. I snap my finger and dishes fall off, but the ground is shaking. And you always winning your battles and I'm losing my battles. And I'd be like, you know what? This ain't working. Angela, take your kids and get the hell out of get the hell from around my house. Because it's clearly, although I serve a God too, but your God is way stronger than mine. So take him and leave. We already know who won that battle. It's the same thing. Hey, there's nothing new under the sun, people. What they did back in those days is what our people are doing now. They gave into it, sons of God, married the daughters of man. It's the same thing. And he like, hey, we can't do that. Even though in slavery, once y'all get over there, I'm not talking about Egypt, I'm talking about the new Egypt, which is here. Once y'all get over there, you still can't do it. When we got over here and we flipped the script, we start having babies by white women, Italian women, Jewish women, and he up there shaking his head like, I didn't tell them to do that. Because you know why? Because somebody changed the law and said, hey, we ain't got to go by God's love. We go by man love, which is what? Love is love. You can love who you want. You can do this. You can do that. You can be in a relationship with another woman. You can be in a relationship with another man. If you say something about it, we can shut you down. We can shut you down because our way is the right way. God's way wasn't the way. Those was back in the days. But he clearly said, I'm God and I change not. He's still here. God is still here, people. I don't know why people get that mixed up. Just because you can't see him, that don't mean he ain't here. And the way the world is now, all this crazy stuff going on, you'd be surprised what you'll see tomorrow. You might wake up tomorrow and a flying saucer be over your house. Remember back in the days when they used to show little sightings of the flying saucers and it was so blurry? Like, man, it looked like a, come on, man, stop. Now, people are taking pictures of these flying saucers. They looking at these things like I'm looking at y'all. So what is going, did he not say in the last times, in other words, to make a long story short, in the last times, you'll see things that you're not usually seeing. Look at all this stuff that's happening, man. Tsunamis out the blue. Texas just got an ice storm. It don't do that in Texas. Come on, man, think about it. But leave it to us. We say, oh well, it's the rainforest and this and that. No, man, God's shaking people up, trying to wake them up because guess what? We all gotta die one day, but we can't. The worst thing to do is die in your sins. That's the worst thing any of us want to do is die in our sins. Because if you die in your sins, you're done. So, in a nutshell, that's why he didn't want us to marry outside our race because those people believed in Roman gods, Zeus and them, and those aren't our gods. No. He wanted us to stay clear from that stuff. No. Don't do that stuff. Y'all with me. If y'all stay on track with me, y'all cool. But if y'all screw up, I'm going to send some people over here that's going to jack y'all up. Why do you think from back in those days till now, there's still the biggest race war ever is black and white. Ever. It's not the white people don't like the Chinese, the Asian people. No, it's black and white. Think about it. If he said, when y'all go into slavery, Y'all gonna be spread across the four corners of the earth. Guess what? Now you got black Irishmen, you got black Britons. That's why you see it. Look at Idris Elba, and they talk with British accents or English, whatever he is. Yeah, there you go. When he spread us, he said nobody will like you. They don't like us. Asian people don't even like us. Polish people don't like us. They don't. Because you know why they don't like us? It was never meant for them to like us. So you can jump up and down all you want, and I'm not saying don't be cool with them. I would never say that. I would never preach. I'm not a preacher. I would never speak hatred. Never. But hey, you cool, but I can't get down with you like that. I can't. Asian people, look at, come on, man. They eat freaking animals, I mean insects and bugs and spiders and stuff and octopus that's still alive. There's a reason why he wanted us to stay away from those people. There's a reason. You can't get mad at me. Get mad at him. Because he already knew what was best for us. If you come over here and if you turn around and do what they do, you're going to be judged just like they are. That's why you got all these churches and all these religions and all these different ways of the Bible and this version of the Bible and that version of the Bible. Bible only means book, which means, you know, it's only knowledge for his people. Remember, he gave the Bible to the Hebrews. So if he gave the Bible to the Hebrews, which is part of the 12 tribes of Israel, that means the Bible was for his people. His people. I'm not saying that no other race can go out and see the Bible and try to get their life together. No, I would never say that. I would never say that. But we're the gatekeepers of this one. And the people that had us in bondage, they already know. That's why they didn't want you to pray into your God. Come on, man, think about it. That's why they don't want you to read the Bible. Well, think about it. They catch you praying, they probably would cut your neck off or kill you. Because they knew your God was power. If my people that I call by my name shall humble themselves, that means when you're humble, you have to respect. You have to fall, hey, I did this, I'm not supposed to do this, and turn from their wicked ways. Only then will I help them. How many of us humbled ourselves and turned from our wicked ways? That's why, look up in the sky, ain't no Superman coming to save us. And I like Superman and Batman, but I know, hey, they can't save us, because if he say nobody's going to save you or help you, he actually meant that. You know, we get a little money. Oh, I'm moving to the top. No, you only go how far as they want you to go. And if you do go far, you got to sell. Look at all the rappers today. Talk about they discriminate women. They do what they want to do. They do anything they want to do and make all this profound music. The women rappers do the same thing. The actors, there's certain things you can do. And all this stuff is demonic. He has nothing to do with this. He said it himself. There's a chance of a camel walking through an eye of a needle than a rich man to get to heaven. Look it up, it's in the Bible. I forgot what scripture it is, but he already knew. That's why he don't reward his people with big gifts like that, billions and billions of dollars, because money will change people. It's not the love of money is all evil, it's for the love of money. How many people change when they get money? That's why you got all the R&B, I mean not the R&B, all you got, look at the church music, Kirk Franklin and whoever those people are, they music sound like something you have GCI. It's common sense. Because just because time changes, the Lord don't change. He don't change. Singing's not going to get you in heaven. It's not. He got angels that can sing. Remember, Lucifer had the coldest voice in the world. So there you go. He don't need singing. He wants you to do what's right. He wants you to live the way he wants us to live. But we don't do that. So I'm sorry. I mean, I don't hate anybody, but hey, me, I would never say, hey, you know what, man? Yeah, I'm tired of these black women. I go get me a passport and go get me a girl from the Philippines. No, I'm going to stay and wear it out. If I die, let me die knowing that I died with a sister, because I can't take that chance. I can't take it. I'm sorry, I can't. I ain't got nothing against the people that go get passports, but if you want to get a passport and travel the world, then by all means, go ahead. But me, I don't care how rough it gets. I don't care how crazy it gets. She can be crazy. I can be crazy too. We can have arguments till the cow come home, but I would never say, you know what, I'm through with black women. I would never say that. because I'm a black man. And by me saying that, that means I'm giving up not just on them, but I'm giving up on my kids. I'm giving up on my mother because my mother's black, my dad's black, and if I have kids by her, my kids will be mixed. No, my kids are straight black babies, all of them. I mean, I'm no different than the X-Man. I've had no, I've had white women come to me. I would just let them off respectfully. You know what? You're beautiful, blah less than the other. I think you're a nice person, but I don't date outside my race. All they say is, well, you know what? Hey, I can respect you for that. I don't disrespect anybody because I know there's a higher price to pay. There's a higher price to pay. Look at their bloodline. Look at your bloodline. These people are savage. These people, Romans and stuff, those Romans, those people killers. Oh yeah. This is just deal with it. They were. So why would I want to be in that bloodline when I got to answer to my God? You know, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And when I get in line for judgment, and he be like, didn't I tell you not to do this? Oh, well, God, you know, times has changed. You doing all that. He gonna be like, oh, you finished? Really, you done? Okay, you got to go. Because once I told you guys, he don't take sides. He don't say, well, I understand my son. She treated you nice. So no, he said don't do it because if he created everything, just hear me out, people. If he created everything, don't you think he know how stuff is going to turn out in the end? Interesting, huh? You didn't see Moses, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All those guys. Well, I think one of them. I think it was. I forgot which one. But you didn't see those guys with different women. No, they stayed in their bloodline. They stayed in their not their bloodline. They stayed in their race in that 12 tribe. So we look at it in the America point of view. We look at it as, oh wait, we ain't hurt nobody. If she loved Walter, well, guess what? She loved Walter. You know why she loved Walter? Because nobody was there to teach her. You can't do that. God's not happy with what you're doing. People can get mad at me all day long, and when you talk like this, people think, well, Pico's a racist. No, I'm not racist. I can't be racist. I didn't put nobody in shackles. I can't be I didn't put nobody in shackles. They put my people in shackles. It went the other way around. It wasn't. And they're proud people. They'll tell you in a minute, oh, we conquered this and we conquered. I was watching this thing when Trump first got in office. And you remember when Trump first got in office, the world went crazy. They was calling white people was calling people the N-words and talking about the Mexican people and the N blah blah blah. And this one guy told this Mexican, hey, blah blah blah, this, that. My people went over there and killed all your people and conquered, well, undid all your people, and we conquered it. That's what you call proud. You're happy you got rid of all these people. I mean, I'm sorry, the Native Americans. You happy you went and got rid of all these people and y'all conquered it? That's nothing to celebrate. But these are the ones we say, oh, he's so fine, or she's so fine. There's nothing wrong with beauty because beauty is in every race. You got white people that's beautiful, you got black people that's beautiful, you got Filipino beauty. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you go into the fact that, well, I gotta have this and she man, or I'm through dealing with black women because I had to go step to a white woman, she'll never understand your pain. So you're a fool. You're a fool. Do we not sell ownership of fools? We do it all the time. It is what it is, man. I mean, hey, there's really much nothing more I can say about that. We have to be strong and upright, just like he is, just like our ancestors was before they went rogue. Remember I used to tell you guys, there's a consequence to everything we do. No, you're not supposed to mix your seed with another seed outside your tribe. You're not supposed to do that. It's common sense because now you have a mixed seed. Now that kid's got two different in him. He got black in him and he got white. That there was no mixing seeds in in the house of Israel. There was never that until we got big head and he said, and he was like, hey, you know what, man, we'll lay that for him. I like them over here. Sons of God marry the daughters of men. I just said that. It's the same thing. We got over here. We start seeing other women and we start having babies by these women. And God was like, I didn't, no. Y'all slipping, man. And we kept doing it and kept doing it. He said, you know what? Okay, forget it. What y'all want so bad, I'm going to give it to y'all. And here they come from the north in ships. And boy, do they beat the crap out of us. Movies, Roots, Amistad, Craft Freedom, A Time to Kill, Till. Those movies are great, believe me. But that's only touching the surface of what they done to us. The Django, yeah, they treated us like dirt, like spit, man. So I'm looking at this. I wasn't back there when my ancestors screwed up and God punished them, but I still got to pay for it. Just like they wasn't back there when their ancestors put us in chains and shackles and sold us off to the four corners of the earth, but their kids got to pay for it because guess why? God deals with bloodline. Remember Sodom and Gomorrah? Sodom and Gomorrah weren't the only two cities. Remember, there was cities around it. He wiped them out. But when we get here, we say what? Hey, you can love who you want to love. God's sitting back and saying, I don't think so, homie. What you think was going on in Sodom and Gomorrah? Everybody should know that now. Now remember, that's the same God back then, the days of Moses, the days of Noah, the days of Adam and Eve, the days of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the day when Jesus walked the earth. That's the same God. It got so bad in Sodom and Gomorrah with the all the stuff that was going on. Well, we know what was going on over there, but he got fed up. Remember, the guys came to Lot's house, knocked on his door. They're like, "Hey, bring them guys out here." Lot like, "No, man, you can take my daughters." They're like, "No, bro, we don't want the daughters. We want the dudes." So, what do you think was going on in Sodom and Gomorrah? And when he sent that fire and brimstone, it burnt everything. Like I just told you guys in a couple of podcasts, they just found in brimstone over there. It's been over there, and they were like, this place is full of ash, and nothing can grow on that land. It's just a desert now. That's the same God back then. What makes you think he won't do the same thing today? Because what? Because we times changed? No.